New Thought Media Network proudly presents Lindsay Leimbach, Practicing Infinite Possibilities, Fridays at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. And now, here's Lindsay.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to PIP. I'm Lindsay Leimbach. And today we're going to be talking about cultivating personal power with mindful eating. What? Personal power? Yes, personal power. So what's the one thing we all do? We breathe, right? We breathe. And so that's why in a lot of meditations, a lot of spiritual practices, even in stress relaxation techniques, it's centered around the breath because we breathe all the time. It's something that's with us all the time. It's part of who we are, and it relaxes us. What is something else that we all do? We eat. We eat. And so when I'm saying that we eat, it means you don't have a choice. So it doesn't matter if you want to have a relationship with food, you're going to have a relationship with food. And if you happen to have a negative relationship with food or an unconscious, you're on automatic pilot relationship with food, it's still always happening. It's always happening. You can't stop eating. So when someone says, well, oh, okay, you shop too much, don't go to the store. You're an alcoholic, so don't have a drink. You're a drug addict, so don't take drugs. You're a gambler, so don't go into the casino, right? Well, that all makes sense, but it doesn't work for food. And so if you have a poor relationship with food, you still have to face it every single day. So we want to cultivate a relationship with food. Really. And Jackie, I am so happy. Here's I'm going to show you. I can sure use that, Lindsay. Cultivating a relation. Me too. Me too. Last night I went out to dinner to this great Mexican restaurant with my girlfriend, and she ordered chips. And I was like, I'm not going to eat those chips. But you know what? They were sitting in front of me, and we were talking, and I was picking up the chip and eating, and I was talking and picking up the chip and eating. How many of us have gone to that and say, I'm going to have a salad, but somebody comes out with the French fries, the sweet potato fries, or the chips, and all of a sudden you don't even realize you're doing it. You're eating this food. That's because the brain is wired to want to eat. It is wired. So let's go there. Let's go a little bit into what's about the brain. And I think this is important because while you're developing this relationship with the brain, you have to realize that we all have this brain. Now, I think it was in episode 1, my very first episode of PIP, I really got in a deeper dive of how the brain works. But I'm going to say it real quick here with you because it's important when we're cultivating a relationship with food. We have this is Reader's Digest version. We have the lower brain, which the lower brain is your automatic brain. It keeps you alive. You can't say, stop digesting. The food just digests, your blood pumps through, your heart goes, especially if you're healthy. So that's your lower brain. Your middle brain, that's where you have really your subconscious mind, in that all your emotions, your feelings, your automatic pilot habits, all your memories, how you deal with anxiety, fear, worry, that's in your middle part of your brain. And then your higher brain, your executive thinking, which is up here. This is the part as a spiritual practice you can even feel. When you do mindful meditation, you're relaxing this part of your brain and you're focusing on one thing. And this is the reason why you practice this, is because this is the part of brain that gives you self-regulation. It also connects the heart together. So you have empathy and compassion. It does planning. If you're playing chess or even being here with Pip, with me right now, and you're learning something new, you're activating your higher level, your executive thinking right now. This is where you get to make choices. Now, when you're tired, when you're sick, when you're overwhelmed, whatever it is, this is the part of the brain that shuts down first. And so that means the middle part of the brain, where you have all those subconscious learned behaviors and habits and relationships with food or anyone else, takes over. And if those habits aren't good, they start kicking in, and you start ending up not making the conscious choice to change. So this is why we need to understand, we need to have a relationship. It's not something you can just leave behind. It's something that you need to cultivate. Eating well and eating mindfully, being mindfully saying, in the present moment, aware of what's going on without the judgment, because we don't want to reinforce negative thoughts and behaviors to ourselves by saying, oh God, I messed up again. You say, oh, redirection, redirection. I can build a new habit. Let me take you over to this. I love this. What are you dragging into the present moment? Meaning, what kind of habits do you actually have in that subconscious mind when it comes to a relationship with food? Have you even ever really thought about it? Because you got many suitcases, file cabinets packed up of memories on how to approach food. And you can say, well, today I'm going to eat well. I got that. But how have you been eating for the last 55 years? What did your parents teach you? What did your culture teach you? What did your religion teach you? What did your classmates teach you? What does the TV teach you? What does the advertisement teach you? We get bombarded into our subconscious mind. So I want to remove that. And I'll give you a good example. This is so funny. Look at this beautiful painting. Is that beautiful? Well, these are burger cookies right here. And they're from Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, and there's a bakery, and they are so good. It's like fudge on the top, and then this really nice white cookie on the bottom. They are so famous in Baltimore that people paint pictures on it. They're so famous that my parents bought us copies of pictures of this painting, and I have it hanging in my house. My parents have it hanging in their house, and my brother has it hanging in his house to remind us of Baltimore and the sweetness of Baltimore. But what does that mean to me? It means that burger cookies mean family, mean connection, mean love. So when I see a burger cookie, it's not like just seeing a chocolate chip cookie from Ralph's or from the Giant. A burger cookie, it means my mom. It's a gift. In the subconscious mind, I have so much information that's piled onto these cookies. Am I going to eat one? You betcha. You betcha. I'm going to eat one. So now let's think about that. Let's take this back to here. And let's go to our next slide that I want to show you. So sit back and think about, this is the relationship. Think about, how did you get where you are at right now? Really think about where. So what is your feelings about buffets? Well, my mom taught me when I was young that we should watch our calories. So if I went to McDonald's, I would throw away one piece of the bun and only eat one, and it would save me 100 calories. So I had that taught from my mom about watching my weight, but in the same difference in my family, that if we went to a buffet, what we said is, you have to eat as much as you possibly can because we have to get our money's worth. Now that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing. So, and we would go and we would count, okay, how much did you eat? What does that mean? All you can eat sushi. We always add up how much we ate and make sure that we ate more than the cost of the all you eat sushi. See, that's the trickiness in the subconscious mind. Am I getting the value? Am I making the deal? What's your feelings about special occasions? Like here I have Thanksgiving will be coming up for many of us, and other wonderful holidays. Do you eat until you become stuffed? The answer in my family when I was little was yes. You were meant to eat until you become comatose, pass out on the couch. And that was honoring my grandmom's wonderful cooking. Now, did we eat that way any other time? Not really, unless we're back at the buffet, right? So think about that. Now, mindfulness in understanding it is being aware of what is in the subconscious mind. I put down the Pebbles cereal here. When I was a little girl, my brother and I would get these packs of cereal, and there were good cereal and bad cereal in the packs, and we would race and eat all the good cereal as fast as we can because I didn't want my brother, it was a selfish act, I didn't want my brother to get it. So all said fast, fast, and maybe eat 2 or 3. So that is also in my subconscious mind. How do you feel about birthdays, other holidays? What do you do when you get stressed? Think about when you were a little kid, when you got upset, and someone said, well, let me take you out for ice cream. Let me take you out for ice cream. And what does that do when they say, let me take you out for ice cream? You're reinforcing that if you're emotionally not feeling well, or if you're having a bad day, what should we do? We should go out and eat ice cream, or we should have a lollipop. When you go to, who here went to the doctor and then at the end they gave you a piece of candy? Another reinforcement with food in the subconscious mind. Oh, I accomplished something, therefore I should have something sweet like a piece of candy. I deserve it. You have linked that together from childhood. You have linked that together from your culture. Okay. You've linked that together also from advertisement. You saw I had a picture of Doritos. The reason why I had that is because if you look in, there's studies about Doritos. They actually got the right smell, the right crack. They get it on your hands a little bit, right? So when you start smelling a Dorito, you already start to salivate. You already start to, they know. And what they want you to do is eat one and then eat another and then eat another. It's a scientific junk food to make sure you eat a lot. So advertisements know how to get you going and eating. The food makers know how to get you want to have more, crave more. Even by the sound of a Dorito or a Twix bar, right, can get you activated to be like, oh, I need to eat that. I need to eat that. So mindfulness is being aware of this. And it's in this non-judgmental way. I didn't make Doritos be the way they are. Advertisements on TV about food know how my mind works. I need to be consciously aware that this is all happening. So let's go back to our slides up here. And let me go on to our next one. So when you have a thought, and this is where the power comes in. When you have a thought, it's just a thought, guys. It's just a thought. It's just talk. I want to eat that. I want that to happen. Then what you want to do is cultivate that awareness. Remember, we were talking the awareness as in the higher level of the brain. This is where awareness, automatic thinking is happening here. Awareness is happening here. So we want to cultivate that awareness. By here, I want to actually show you instead of that slide, of course, mindfulness. Here we go, this slide. So you have this thought coming through, and we want to come up to our higher level of thinking and become aware. And then we have that power of choice, that power of choice. I'm going to do that. Here we go. I'm learning how to do all my own putting things up. So let me see here. So now I want to put this up. Come back to choice. This is the key. This is the key to happiness. Being aware something's going on, being aware that you're entering into all you can eat sushi, being aware that it's your birthday, being aware that someone has just bought chips and stuck them right in front of you and said, eat as many as you want. Being aware, taking a breath, and then making that choice. Now, why is this really about cultivating personal power? Let's think about that for a second. Why did I call it cultivating personal power? Because this relationship you have with food is also very similar to a relationship you have with people, right? I have to see my husband. I don't guess I don't have to, but I want to, you know. I want to cultivate a good relationship with my kids, with my neighbors, and sometimes it's not so good. Sometimes there's things that happened in the past in the subconscious mind which interfere. I think, oh gosh, by the way, I love my mother-in-law, but I'm going to use her as an example is that let's just say, oh gosh, I have to be with my mother-in-law. And you think, I don't want to do that. Or your father-in-law, oh God, last time they were, or you just remember the one time they embarrassed you or something like that happens, right? And so that's in your subconscious mind. So that feeling of resistance comes up. Well, you have to be aware of that and say, where is that coming from? Is that in the present moment? Am I really cultivating my mind and my heart energy, or I'm living in that past? Am I living with that baggage? That baggage. What are you dragging into the future? Well, as you learn how to cultivate and become aware of food, it is a wonderful practice because it is something that we have to do every single day. So as you practice being aware of your relationship with food in the morning, when you go, I used to work in a school and they would have junk food everywhere in the teacher's lounge, leftover people's birthday cakes and cookies and donuts and stuff. And you would just kind of just grab it in an unconscious way. So learning how to be aware of food, meaning that you're becoming aware of your subconscious minds and the habits that are going in your subconscious mind. That is so powerful because then you're building up that present mind of choice. And if you learn this skill, this awareness skill with food every day, you can use that skill. You can use that skill with everything that you do. Everything that you do. So let me take this out and I want to talk about this. I brought this up before in one of the first episodes, RAS, your reticular activating system. This is really important about understanding food as well. If you go on a diet or if you decide, okay, I'm not going to have sugar, I'm not going to have carbohydrates, which are two things that really end up putting weight on me is sugar and carbohydrates. And if I say I can't have them because they're bad for me, and if that is your mindset, then we have this filter system within our brain, the RAS, the reticular activating system. And they say, oh, sugar and carbohydrates, bread. A lot of times people frame it as, I'm not going to eat any bread. Bread is bad for me. And then they say your filter system within your body will say, okay, it's bad for you. You made that important. That is going to be high on our list. We are not going to eat that. We're going to be not eating it. We're going to be aware we're not eating it. And then what happens? You see bread everywhere. People are offering you cookies. You go into a restaurant, and when you're scanning the menu, you're not looking for what you want. You're looking for what you can't eat. I can't eat that. I can't eat that. I can't eat that. And you're saying that to yourself. I can't eat that. How does that feel to you? It feels pretty bad. And then you're putting into your subconscious mind that you're in a danger zone and that you're in a stressful situation because you've chosen to eat a different way. And you've now categorized it as being a problem instead of being a solution. Because you've told your RAS, your reticular activating system, hey, scan for bread, scan for sugar because I need to avoid it. Just like someone who had like a peanut allergy, they do need to scan to make sure there's not peanuts around, right? Because it could kill them. So that would make sense. That's a true danger. But having bread in front of me is not a true danger. It's not going to kill me. But if I put it in my RAS as it's a problem and a danger, it's going to start reacting that way. And then you're dieting and you're going to be stressed out because you're going to see it everywhere. It's the syndrome of, let's say you just bought a new red car or a new red sweater or new red shoes or something like that. And then you go to the mall and all you see is red cars, red sweaters, and red shoes. Like, right? Right? When you think you get something that's important to you, your brain scans and a subconscious mind is always looking for it. So it's very important that we are actually cultivating the skill to use our RAS, our reticular activating system, in a positive way, not a way that's scanning for problems, not a way that's actually activating more stressful feelings, that it's activating a way in which how to eat well, how to be your best in a healthy way. And so cultivating the relationship with food is self-empowering because you're learning how to use the filter system of your RAS. And when you learn how to use it with food that we do every day, right? It's a habit we do every day, or an activity, I should say, we do every day, then it works so well. It works so well to be able to use it in other ways as well. So the I am statements, we all love this, the prayers and the I am. We want to say them in the affirmative, right? In the affirmative, because what we're doing is then putting those affirmations of the positive into a RAS system. And a RAS says, oh, we're looking for the good today. We're looking for God today. We're looking for light today. We're looking for good relationships. We're looking for health. We're looking for stairs to walk on so I can get some exercise. We're looking for the parking spot that's not so close to the door. The parking spot that's in the back so I can get my steps and my walks in. See, we can program our RAS as a neutral tool, but we can program it as if it's a danger and it's scanning for danger, or it's actually looking for the I am statements that I am enough, I am good enough, I am lovable, I am beautiful, I am kind, I am perfect right now, even with my imperfections. You want to program your RAS that way, and you want to use it, and we can practice by doing that with food. So we can say to ourselves, I am an eater that gives me positive energy and joy. I am an eater that gives me positive energy and joy. Now, if you're using that statement first thing in the morning, I am an eater. I will eat today. I am someone who can eat with healthy thoughts in my mind that brings me happiness. That brings me happiness. Okay, now let's think about that. Now you go to the restaurant. Let's go back to the menu issue that we were talking about before. And I was scanning, I got on such a roll, I forgot what time it was. We're good. We're good. Okay, so we go back to the menu and we're scanning again. Now you're looking, instead of for the things you can't eat, the bread, the sugar, you're scanning the menu and looking for what is going to give you happiness and joy in a healthy way. Your brain is going to be looking for something different. That is so cool. That is so, so, so cool. So we get to practice all that. Now, let me take you up. I want to show you a different slide. I have to learn how to get these slides to the right spot. Oh, there we go. Right here. This is the spot I want. I want to tell you about a study they did with some college kids. This is my favorite study. They took some really hungry college kids, okay? And it was right around lunchtime, and they split them into 2 rooms. Now, in one room, what they did for only 15 minutes, they taught them mindful meditation. And so, in other words, to just follow your breath and be aware of your breath. And when you're doing mindful meditation, you're relaxing that subconscious mind, that middle brain, and you're also relaxing the lower brain that's always operating, but you don't have a fight, flight, freeze response going on. The stress is going away. You're just allowing the stress out. And then by following your your breath, you're cultivating and activating your prefrontal cortex. So they did that with these kids for 15 minutes. In the other room, they did not. Let me go like this. I can do this. They There you go. In the other room, they did not do anything. They just had them sit there and just chit chat in a nice, quiet way. Okay. So then they put them in a hall, and in the hall, they walked down and they said, listen, we know it's lunchtime and you guys are hungry. So you go ahead and you can eat anything you want. And they had healthy snacks and they had unhealthy snacks. Okay. And so in the ones that did chose the healthy snacks were the ones who did the mindful meditation. And the other ones were on automatic pilot, And so when you're on automatic pilot, remember, as we talked about in the past class, our brain is 200,000 years ago, it got formed to what the brain we have now. So 200,000 years ago, we needed sugar, we needed salt, and we needed fat. So that is your automatic DNA programming. We better fatten up, right, for the winter. However, we don't live in that world anymore. And so, of course, most of the things that are offered to us commercially have sugar, fat, and salts in them, right? Because why? Because we crave it. It's in your DNA. We crave it. So unless you make a conscious choice and you go in that subconscious mind, your automatic pilot, and you're just going to go living by your DNA, then you're going to pick the unhealthy snacks. And that's what they found out that these college kids did. They picked the unhealthy snacks. So what does that mean to us? It's so wonderful because it means that when we learn how to be mindful and take that breath, that ABC, becoming aware and then breathing, and have that breath and bring our energy up to our prefrontal cortex, we can make a conscious choice. The children, the college kids, didn't even know that they were making a conscious choice. But this part of their brain was activated because they had done the mindful meditation. In other words, if we all right, check this out. If we all take a few breaths before we start to eat and become consciously aware of what is going on, you will eat better. You'll eat healthier because this part of your brain will be activated. That is so cool. That is so cool. And when you realize you're not, like last night, I started to eat the chip and I'm talking and I was in automatic pilot. Those chips were just crunchy and tasted perfect. And I was not focusing on eating. I was focusing on my friend. And therefore, I was not making a conscious choice. And I just went and ate those chips. And then all of a sudden I was like, whoop, wake up. And I started to bust out laughing. And she's like, what are you laughing about? I said, tomorrow I'm teaching about mindful eating. And I'm not eating mindful at all. At all. Jackie, have you ever felt that way? I bet you have. Everyone out there has felt that way. So how do we take it to the next step? Let me show you this. Here's 6 steps to mindful eating. Okay, so you see it actually, I think it's called an acronym, eating. Evaluate if you're hungry. So when it's time to eat, even during the holidays, check in with yourself. Are you hungry? Right? Assess your food. Really look at your food. That's what I mean by it. Really look at it. Enjoy the colors. Smell it. Anything you want. I know you're like, why is there a bird in this? Because on my trip to Northern California, I saw that bird and he was not seagull. He was not eating mindfully. And what he had in his mouth was actually this huge starfish. And he's running around trying to eat this starfish. Are we out there trying to eat the starfish? I just made me laugh. I'm like, bird, you have to take my mindfulness class. So access your food, smell it, see it. Really enjoy it, appreciate it. So when I eat the burger cookies, I don't eat them. I take one. And a lot of times I'll even cut it in half and I'll eat it so slowly. And I know that it's rooted to the love of my family and the love of my community and love of my childhood. But I eat it slowly. I really access it. I really smell it. I let it wash around. I really taste it. And that's what tea is, tasting. And then after you start to eat, keep checking in with yourself and investigate. Are you still hungry? Don't eat until you're in pain. When you stop being hungry, then it's time to stop eating. And then the next thing is notice how you feel. Now, I don't mean only notice how you feel while you're eating, because usually when you're eating, dopamine is going off. And if it's something like a birthday cake or a family tradition, serotonin is going off. So you feel good while you're eating. That's why people love to eat. That's why it takes them out of pain for the moment and changes. But notice how you feel later in the evening. Notice how you feel the next day. When I eat carbohydrates and a lot of sugar or eat a lot of sodium, actually my joints hurt as I've gotten older. And I've acknowledged that. So I need to be very mindful and know that if I'm eating this food now, I'm going to pay the consequences tomorrow, and I can't complain. So, because I know there is a huge correlation. When I was younger, and I think for a lot of us, when we're younger, you can process your food so well. But when you become older, it's much harder to process your food. So sodium has a bigger effect on you. Yeast, sugar and carbohydrates makes much more yeast into your body and causes inflammation. It's harder to digest. A lot of us have heartburn much easier. So we need to really see the negative consequences. Remember what the Buddha, not the Buddha, the Dalai Lama said yesterday, not yesterday, last Friday. He said, happiness is not pleasure. So eating is not necessarily happiness. Happiness is the liberation of suffering, to be able to make positive choices that set up positive consequences, and which we would say is positive karma. So if I'm eating a whole bunch of bread today, I'm not liberating myself from suffering. He would not say eating a big bread bowl of clam chowder is happiness. It might be pleasure, okay, but it's not happiness. It's not happiness. And then the last I want to do is bring up is gratitude. So I'm going to remove this and I want to go back in here, and I just want to show you real quick something about gratitude. Gratitude, when you go into the grateful mind, you actually are stimulating your prefrontal cortex because you're the observer. You're getting out of your ego and you're being grateful for other things, for the bigger picture. So it actually, the rational brain is talking to the limbic system, and it's actually bringing everyone in the present moment and making a choice. Gratitude connects the higher brain with your heart. So this is one reason why having gratitude with your food actually is cultivating personal power. All right, now we did a lot. I want to tell you guys something. In here at my website, centeredmoment.com, I have an article on cultivating personal power, mindful eating. It's also I put it in the description of this video. So if you guys go to my YouTube channel or you look down at New Thought Media Network or on mine, wherever you're seeing this, you'll see a link and you can go to that. If you have any questions or you want to really develop a better relationship with food, feel free to reach me at centeredmoment at gmail.com. I'd love to help you and do that. Life is good. Eating is fun. But let's do it mindfully, and let's use our eating as part of our cultivation of our own personal power. Hey, Jackie, thank you so much. I just want to say, she said frequently. She's with me. She understands. She understands. Cultivating mindful eating is a practice, everybody. It is a practice, and it is a skill. So we'll continue doing the skill together. I want to tell you next week, I'm very excited about this, that I have Patrick Hubala, who has written some books, and The Magic of the Soul is fabulous. And I'm going to have him talk with me next week. And I'm very excited about it because it's going to be my first interview. I want to show you. Here's a great picture of him. He and I, here's this book. Isn't that great? He and I actually had a cable TV show together about 15 years ago. So Reverend Patrick Hubala is really about how to bring passion into your life. And he knows a lot about Native American traditions and a lot about New Thought and how they can come together. And he does sweat lodges and so forth. So he's a fabulous speaker. He really believes about living your passionate life. And so I would like you all to meet him. So come with me next Friday to see him. That would be awesome. And let's see, let me hide that and go back up to here. And the last thing I want to say is I really want to thank New Thought Media Network for everything that you all do, that you make this possible. This is a nonprofit organization, and they work so hard to bring solid content, just like this, solid content. A shout out to Rev Melissa and Rev Laura, both of Rev Gina. All of them have terrific shows. I recommend to go to the New Thought Media Network and see their shows as well. So thank you, everybody, for everything you've done. I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you next week. I'm going to go and thank you for watching me do my own production. It was fun. Have a wonderful day.